Hello all and welcome to Module 5. Congratulations, you made it to the midterm. I'm glad that you've hung in there and I look forward to seeing you through to the end to see those final sites. I hope that you're kind of getting your feet wet with Dreamweaver. In the last module, you were able to format some text, do some basic formatting, but really without having to see the code. So in Module 5, we're going to start looking at the code and understanding that better as it relates to the design and the page layout. And I hope that you'll really see how the two work together. So if you're already familiar with some coding, I hope that this class will help you to better understand the design and how they support each other. And then if you're not familiar with coding, I hope this will be a good introduction to see how you can use coding to improve your design and layout for your site. I just wanted to respond a little bit to some of the posts for discussion 4, the best and worst sites, and you'll always come up with some good stuff and some bad sites, and some of them come kind of repeat, especially the bad ones. But I want to start with a good site, and this was posted by Carly. And I wanted to show this site too because this is one of the sites that's really user-friendly. It's a site that's really geared for people who are looking for something very specific and need an interface where they can just go in and look for whatever it is that they are looking for very quickly. And so this website is for Airbnb, and you can see that their logo here is very simple and just small and in the corner, and that's because it's a recognizable logo, so they don't even need the title and the text to go along with it. So I think that most of us are not quite there yet, so that's why I really encourage you all to include the name and the title of your website with your logo. And once you've established that branding, then you can just use the logo by itself, but until then it's really good to help with some identifier text to accompany it. And so Carly mentioned the abundant white space on this site and just the readability of the typeface and how easy it is to navigate and to read everything. It's very clear, and that's really important for a site who's really a service or who's trying to generate revenue, and they need to be very easy to access the information and the content that they're trying to offer. And then we can go back and look at some other sites. I wanted to look at what Paige posted as well. And she also cited that Psychology of Web Design talked about how background images should be used sparingly and made simple when used behind text. And she was looking at this website, Beaubois, and they use a background fill image across the entire site, but it's not just a filler image. There is a purpose for it. It goes to support the identity of the company, and there's a logo with the name. And even the navigation words are in a transparent background so you can see the image behind it, and then when you hover or roll over it, you can navigate to other places on the site. There's also an arrow that lets you know to scroll down, that there's more information above the main part of the website that is not in view, so that the user knows to go scroll down. And now most of us know to scroll down now. It used to be that we only did sites where we're just using the upper portion of the website, but most people know now to scroll down, but it still helps to have some instructions to let the user know, hey, there's more information, so you need to scroll down. So the image in the background here is still used sparingly. If you click on somewhere else in the site, they use that same kind of layout. And then we can also look at Paige's poorly designed website choice, and this is one that has come up in previous classes before. So I think that they're really trying to be the worst site here with Lean's cars and just really be gaudy and tacky and overwhelm the viewer with unnecessary background fill images and colors, unnecessary animations and videos, and just overwhelming the user with too much stuff, too much graphics and color and everything. I also want to take a look at Elena's best and worst sites, and she really did a good job, just the way that she laid out the format here in her post. She's got the best site highlighted here and linked. Then she tells us why she chose that site and cites her sources. And then she also included a screenshot from the website, and then same thing with the worst site, and then cited the source down here. So let's take a look at the best site, this tbwa.com. And so when you go to the site, you see an animation immediately pop up in the background, and then directions to click here to watch. You have the logo here on the left, and then the navigation menu that's shown by these bars. If you click on it, then you've got this diagonal graphic that's used throughout the site. You've got a good amount of white space, easy to read text and type. I can click back to the logo, and then I can also scroll down, and you can see that that diagonal layout is used for consistency throughout the site. And then if I go back and look at the site again, a different image pops up in the background, a different animation. So that's a really nice touch that they added to their site. So she also mentioned using the clean fonts that read at the best possible speed and that's research based from the reading, using the consistent format that flows throughout the site. And it's simple, but it has a very effective impact. And then this worst site, we're just going to look at the screenshot here and just look at, there's a lot of red banners going across the site, so it's almost overkill. And then this folded element here seems really kind of unnecessary. Otherwise, it's not really the worst site in the world, but some of these things, these graphic elements just seem like it's just not really necessary, and it could be simplified. Let's take a look at Monica's post. And so Monica found the Howler website, and again, she's got a link to it and then a screenshot here. I'm going to go ahead and go directly to the site here and just look at the header area. The title and the logo are incorporated together. So this is the title of the site, and then here's the logo, and with just this letter H, you can see it's used here in the navigation area or the navigation menu. And there's again a lot of breathing space here, a lot of white space. The text is easy to read. There's a grid system. It's very clear that you scroll down and you access the information within this grid. Again, the research from the reading shows that readers read the most effectively and most easily when it's a black font over a white background. The navigation is easy to use and clear. And then if we look at this Keeper Notes website, there's really little design thought put into this site. It's unclear what the title and the logo is. These could be ads. I'm not really sure what the site is about. And there's not really a navigation. There's some hyperlinks, but there's no navigation menu. And then we can take a look at Stephen. And so Stephen pointed out this Alex Coven site. And again, we've got a lot of white space, but I also wanted to point out that this website uses an image. It's not a boxed in image, and that's always kind of nice and refreshing for a website to have something different like this sort of image that's not just in a box, but it's a fun kind of art form. And if you use it as a PNG, and you can use a transparent background and put it over background color. There's instructions here to scroll down, and then there's some filler images in the background. There's a logo that shows us where the navigation is. We can click back there. There's that logo again. And there's an animation that's used well within that logo where it just spins around. And then if we take a look at Stephen's choice for the worst site is Blinky, and so just by the name I think you can tell what this site is going to look like. But I just wanted to point out though that some of the images on this site are not good quality, so they're pixelated. Even for web, you want to use high enough resolution. There's a pop-up where it doesn't look blurry or pixelated. And some of these images are not cleaned up too. So like this shadow here could be taken out. And some of these images, you can see this gray that should have been cleaned up in Photoshop before it was placed on this site. And again, an animation that's really not necessary, but you know, it is blinky.com, so we'll give them that. And some other things that people brought up, Yale Art School website, it's a wiki site. I'm not going to go there, you can look it up, but it looks not aesthetically pleasing at all. But their whole point is that it's a wiki site so the users can continue to add content, and it's fluctuating and changing and evolving. And so that site is really less about the aesthetics and more about the process. And it's interesting just to think about the future of webs, of websites, and even design is going to become more interactive, more driven by the users, and maybe actually designed by users. So that's something interesting to think about. Suzanne Collins, Ray Weather, and the James Bond Museum, interestingly enough, are also on the bad site list. So you can always look at those if you want to look at some cluttered sites or not very well organized sites. Also, some other things to point out. I wanted to just point out Shane's site because I thought this was clever in that he used a topic. So both of these sites, the good and the bad example, the subject matter is very similar. So they're selling motorcycles, but you can look at the one, why this one is better than this one, and then he tells us why this one's more organized and more effective in its layout, and how this one is more cluttered. So then we can also look at Jarrett, and I just wanted to take a look at his best site, even though he talks about how this is really kind of reaching a target audience that interacts and uses comics and these stick figures, but I found it really kind of hard to use because when I click on the next button, it takes forever to load to get to the next screen. So when something like that happens and you just kind of hang out and it's not really working effectively, the user will really get tired of that easily and go to a different site. So you really want to avoid those kind of issues of having users hung up or having something in the navigation of the site not working. So now I want to move on to Module 5, that as we look at what's ahead, we can take a look at the HTML text slides and just read over that. As we talk about some simple codings, there's 6 levels of headings, and each one is always used for the main heading, so it's going to be the largest, but you can only use one H1 heading on your site. These tags are used for paragraphs, so any text will be within the opening and closing tag for a paragraph. Structural markup are elements that describe headings and paragraphs, so we can have things like bold text and italic text, and those are the opening and closing tags for bold and italic. And this is how the result of how it would look like when you use you would put the text in between the opening and closing tags. And I just wanted to I'm going to skip over here and look at semantic markup. So in semantic markup, browsers may sometimes display the content differently. So the purpose here is to describe this content more accurately for screen readers or search engines that use this information. So for example, a semantic markup would be you would use the HTML code strong within the container tags, and that usually would result in the text being bolded. The emphasis tag would usually result in the text being italicized, and then block quote would indent it. And so this is just useful so that if the screen reader is being used, what they would read the text with emphasis or as giving it some strength. We also have list tags for ordered lists or unordered lists, definition lists. And then I just want to go kind of skip ahead. You can go back and read over that. But I want to look at link text. So when you see this ahref equals container tag, that usually includes a URL address. So you would put the URL address within these tags. So in Module 5, you will start here. You will read over the HTML text, and then you will do homework 7 after you watch the tutorial videos. I'm going to open up the assignment sheet for homework 7. What you're going to be doing is first you will download the digital book chapter files and the textbook, and then you will watch the videos to go step by step in using the textbook and the video and complete the tutorial. You do not have to turn in this tutorial file, but you need to complete it in order to do the homework assignment. So it's very important that you would complete this chapter in the book in order to do the homework. And that pretty much goes along with all the homework assignments, so don't feel like just because you don't have to turn in this chapter tutorial, you don't have to do it. You really need to do it in order to know how to do the homework assignment. So once you do that, then you will download the resource files for the homework, and that's the books file. And what you will do is you're going to copy the text from this color chapter 3 text into the books document, and you're going to use the same CSS style sheet as you did in the book chapter, digital book chapter tutorial project. So you will actually use that same style sheet to complete the homework assignment. And I go over this in the video. So instead of the typography text, you're just going to use the new color chapter 3 text. Also in Module 5, you can watch this video that I posted from a friend of mine, Angie Spiegel, and she talks about how to use some simple HTML tags to set up a basic website. And this is not done in Dreamweaver, but I just wanted to include this to show you how you would add some of these codes to a website, just so you can kind of understand the coding side of it. And then she also shows you how you can apply styles from W3 schools so that you will know how to do that. So if you want to go to W3 schools, you can actually copy some of the styles there and paste it into the coding section in Dreamweaver. Also in Module 5, you will have a quiz that's due, and then you will need to sign up for a professional site partner or partners. So here's a Google Docs sign up sheet, and all you do is sign your name, and then you can write in the name of your site or a topic if you have one, and then your email and phone number. So if you're looking for a partner, they can look on this list and see, hey, if this is a topic I'm interested in, I can sign up to join this person and be part of this group. Or if you already have a group, you can all sign up and sign up together and write your site name or topic. And then if you are looking for a group and you don't have a topic yet, you can just include your name. You can put some comments or notes. But this is just a way for you to kind of form groups among yourselves, so you have that option. And then if you don't have a group after this is due, I will go ahead and look at this list and assign you to a group as needed so that everyone can be in a group. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me about it. But you can also go back and look at the discussion forums and see who might be a good person to partner with and reach out to them. So make sure you include your email or phone number so that they can contact you. Also, there is an extra credit assignment for those of you who may be interested in it. So if you scroll up, there is under helpful resources, extra credit, calling all photographers. So if you're able to take some high resolution photos, I'm looking for some good quality photos for another class that I teach on document design to use some images about the town of Boone. So they could be photos of downtown Boone or different hiking trails or scenic photos. But you can read the assignment sheet here and to read more about the specifications for this assignment. The images do need to be CMYK 300 ppi resolution because these images are going to be for print rather than for web. So make sure that you submit them with the in the right format here. And that's due October 24th. Don't forget that all that we're doing in each module is working towards those final sites, and that you do need to include a logo for your professional site and an animated GIF on your ePortfolio. And so you can always be thinking ahead on that as you sign up for your group sites too. You can start talking and communicating with your partner or partners using the Google community. So you can go back to helpful resources and click on our Google Plus community. And then once I go over the sign up sheet, I will look at all the groups and include your group names here under professional site groups, and then you can begin communicating with your group here in the Google Plus community. And that is part of your participation grade, so make sure that you do that so that I can see your involvement in your groups. And you can feel free to look at the interaction between the other groups within the class. This concludes the Module 5 video. Be sure to watch all of the videos that are embedded and linked on the Module 5 Start Here section.